Hey guys, Sean Terry here, flip2freedom.com. Hope you're doing well. All right, now in this video, I want to talk about a closer's attitude, how you can go out there and improve your closing skills so you can go out there and crush it. Now, I've heard that, when looking and being part of our mastermind, Syndicate 9 Mastermind, we've seen reps or closers or acquisition reps where their numbers are, they'll close 1 in 45 to 50 leads to get a deal, right? And their average deal size is just $10,000 to $15,000. And we have other reps that are closing 1 in 15 and their average deal size is $30,000. That's a massive difference between performance, and your goal is to have the highest average deal size in the lowest leads per contract. So you can have less leads and sign more contracts and create more revenue. So in this video, we're going to share exactly what it takes to have the attitude, but also be able to close those transactions and get those deals done. So let's get into it.
I can't take no loss. Yeah. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my.
All right, so first thing we want to do to have the closer's attitude is we have to realize that we are the buyer. Now, it's different with wholesaling because wholesaling, we're the buyer and you have a seller, but then we're trying to close the seller to sell us the property. And a lot of brand new people get that screwed up. They're so eager to get the seller to sign the contract that it feels weird for the seller because you're trying to close the seller and the seller is trying to sell you the property. It's like going into a car dealership. We went and my daughter bought a car this past weekend. And it's like us going into the dealership and walking in the dealer and trying to close the salesperson to sell us the car. That's not how it works. It feels weird, and sellers will feel the same way. They'll ask you for things like, do you have a proof of funds? Have you done this before? This sounds like a scam. So if you're getting those things, it's because you're coming off with that type of eagerness to get the contract signed. So on the flip side, what we want to do is be the reluctant, picky buyer. Now, we want to act as if we either A, have $100 million sitting in the bank right now and we're going to buy properties across the country, or B, we work for someone that has $100 million in the bank and they're going to be buying, we want to buy properties and they give you a specific buy box and criteria, right? So imagine that. You have $100 million, you're talking to a seller. What would you be? You'd be a reluctant, picky buyer. You talk about the house, you talk about the condition, you talk about the roof, you talk about the situation, right? And you'd want to, you be that reluctant. And someone goes, no, I want $450,000, right? And you got to remember, it's a buyer's market, not a seller's market. In a buyer's market, a buyer dictates price and terms. So when we're talking to a seller and a seller tries to dictate price and we're the buyer, we'll go, well, listen, Mrs. Seller, obviously there are probably about 50 other properties I could pick in your little neighborhood right here. So I'm talking to you. You called us. You said you wanted to sell your property. We're a retail buyer. We're not a retail buyer. We're not going to live in the property. We're an investment firm for the sole purpose of making a profit. So if you really want 450, then we're definitely not your person. Maybe I'll talk to one of your neighbors that's a little more understanding of what's going on in the marketplace with banks collapsing and interest rates rising and inventory increasing and all this turmoil going across the country. So you become the reluctant, picky buyer when you're talking to them. Obviously, you want to be nice. So, and to go along with that, so you're not offending any sellers, is that sellers will do business with people that they like and trust. So you want to gain their, you want to get them to like you. They want to get them to trust you. And then when you talk and build rapport with that seller, then you can play that reluctant, picky buyer that, your house sounds really nice, and I know you want a higher price, but, it just doesn't work for us. We need to be more around this price for the property because obviously we're an investment firm. We're not going to live there. So you kind of want to lay out that, with them and have that attitude going in. And if you do that, then what's going to happen is they're going to gravitate to you. And now you got to remember, we learned this from Grant Cardone's book, was it Close or Be Closed, or Sell or Be Sold, right? It's Close or Be Closed, is that you're either being sold or you're selling. So they're either selling you on why their price is their price, or you're selling them on why your price is your price. The question is, who's going to win? Are they going to win selling you why their price is their price? Or are you going to win selling them on why your price is your price? So that's critically important. Who is actually doing the selling here? And obviously you're the one doing the selling, but remember, you are the reluctant, picky buyer with $100 million in the bank, and you can buy any house you want. There's inventory in all these neighborhoods. I'll just buy your neighbor's house. You know what? And you'll walk away. It doesn't matter. You know what? It doesn't sound like we're right for you. Sounds like you need to, clean up your property and declutter it, and maybe paint the inside and redo the landscape and clean the whole thing up. And maybe you should, find a great agent. Obviously you're going to pay them real estate commissions, closing costs and fees, and you can put your house on the market. But I look in your area, it looks like there's about average 100 days on the market right now. So you probably wait about 100 days to get your price to be able to get that done. If that's what you're looking for and you want to get that price, that's the road you're going to have to go down. So we're different. We're an investment firm. And obviously we have to get the property for a discount so we can make a profit. So if you're cool with that, we can move forward. If not, your probably best bet is find a great agent. Now, that's important. So now let me tell you a quick story, then we'll wrap this up. So we got a lead that came in. Seller said he wanted to sell his house. He was asking $350,000 for the house. So it was an in-person appointment a handful of years ago. I drove up and got up in the front house. He had his old beat up truck there. And I went up and I met the guy in front of the house, shook his hand, and he goes, I said, "Hey, how are you?" He said, "Good. Go through the house, give me your number. I'm not going to sign anything today, and I'm not lowering my price off $350." And I go, "Okay, my name's Sean Terry. How are you?" And I said, "Why don't we do this? Why don't you walk me through the house so if I have any questions, I don't have to come in and out of the house to ask you a question. Could you do me that?" Right? And he said, "Fine." Now, why I did that was because it gave me the ability to build rapport. So then what I did is I walked around the house with him and I asked him questions. There was an addition to the property. He kind of explained everything and da-da-da-da-da. Then we went out to the backyard and they had these little cement, handmade like little cement stones that had handprints in them with names on them. I started asking about that. We started to build rapport about that. So I got him to like and trust me from the initial start. Now, remember, he wanted $350. My initial offer, and I needed to be around $290, $300. My initial offer out of the gate was $250. So I gave him an offer at $250. Now, if you understand personality types, and I don't have time to get into that, but he was a red personality, aggressive and wanted to win. That's why I started super low. He blew up and he goes, "Oh my gosh, wasted my time. I just, get out of here. That is ridiculous. Absolutely no way." I said, "Well, I'm just looking at the comparable properties of what." So, "Oh my gosh, a house sold down the street, whatever, blah, blah, blah." It didn't really sell, it was listed. I said, "Great. Well, what's your bottom line? If we're going to pay cash and close it and get it done quick, I'm looking at numbers right here. That house you're telling me down the street, it's listed, it's not sold. So where do we want to be to get this done?" And he goes, "I told you $350 is my number, take it or leave it." I said, "Okay." And I said, "Fine." I said, "This property," and you have to find something wrong with the property to be able to negotiate off a number. I said, "I would give you your $350, but you're missing something critically important. And the critical important thing is it doesn't have a master bedroom and bathroom. Your bedrooms there's no master. So I will not be able to come in, renovate this house, turn around and sell it without a master bedroom." Do you know that, right? I guarantee you've probably heard that, and that's why you've been trying to sell your property and you haven't sold it. It doesn't have a master bedroom. So for me to put a master bedroom on, I'm going to have to blow out the wall, and I'm going to have to turn around, and I'm going to have to do an addition, which is going to take a whole bunch of time. I have to deal with the city. I have to go through all these plans and stuff like this to be able to get that done. And for that, it's going to cost me a lot of money to be able to make that happen. That's why I can't give you your 350. That's why my number, 250, maybe I'll come up to like 280. And if we can do 280, I can get this deal done. And he just sat there and paused, and he goes, well, maybe not 280, but I'll come down to, I think it was said 330. I was like, 330? I said, I'm at 280. I said, I have to put and then I found out that the addition he put on, he had a laundry room with no sewer connection. And when I walked around, I said, you have an addition on there and it has no sewer connection for the laundry. That means I'm going to have to come in and put a sewer line. You know how much that's going to cost? I said, I'll come up to 290, but you're going to have to come, 290, and we can get this done, just because now I got to put a master bedroom in the property and do all the addition on, and I've got to put a sewer line because you didn't do it, right? And you're not going to be able to sell this on the open market. That's probably why you're trying to sell it yourself, because you don't have a sewer line and you don't have a master bedroom. And guess what? He goes, I'll do 310. I said, okay, well, I'll come up to 290. Let's go to 290, 310. What are we going to do? And he goes, and then we were stuck. He wouldn't budge off to 310. I wouldn't budge off 290. I walked. I packed my stuff up. I said, well, good luck. If you come around or whatever, just give me a call. And it was the Columbo close. That means Columbo, if you ever watch Columbo, he's a investigator, whatever. He always pack up his stuff and leave. And then he'd turn around and go, oh, by the way, I got one more question. I call it the Columbo close. So I picked up my stuff. I walked out and I walked past his truck to go to my car, right? And as I was walking, he had an NRA sticker on the back. Now, I used to be a prior U.S. Marine. I'm an expert sharpshooter. I've been to war over in Desert Storm back in the early 90s. So, I'm a firearm enthusiast, right? So I saw the NRA, and I made an assumption, and this was a handful of years ago. It's like in 2016. It was when the whole election with Trump and Hillary was going on, right? And you got to remember, part of this is you want to be a chameleon. You want to basically act like, because people like themselves, and if we know that people like themselves, we want to be like them. So. And that's what a chameleon does. They adapt to their environment. So if you're talking to a grandmother and they're talking very slow and quiet, you want to talk very slow. You want, hey, Grams, what's up? Right? You don't want to do that. You scare the heck out of them. So you talk very slow and, hi there, how are you? How are you doing today? Well, that's a nice hummingbird, right? So you talk to them like that. So being a chameleon and understanding that and understanding personalities, and I saw his NRA sticker on there, and me being a Marine, I took a risk, right? That he was a Republican and he was a Trump supporter. And so I said, okay. And I said this, and I'm walking away, getting in my car, and I turned around and I said, let me ask you a question. I said, I'm going to walk away and I'm going to be gone, right? You used to be, I think he was in the military. Obviously you knew I used to be in a Marine. I said, and I see your NRA sticker on there. I said, let me ask you a question. If I walk away and you happen to sell this house, would you want to sell this house for a couple $1,000s to a Democrat that supports Hillary? And I kind of lobbed it out there. And then literally he just went, absolutely not. And he just went nuts and blah, 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 blah. All this, right? Now, doesn't matter what you believe. Just think of the story. So people don't get all erupted and offended and whatever. The bottom line is that I was able to challenge him because of the information I found in the environment. And he was like, no. And I said, why don't we do this? 300,000, split it down the middle. It's a deal. We'll get it done. and he signed the contract on top of his truck, and he gave me the keys right there, and I ended up buying it, closing on it. We spent about $200,000 renovating it, and we sold it for close to, I think it was like $700,000. Beautiful house. It was amazing. We actually took the master, basically the living room, and turned it into the master bedroom, and took the master bedroom and turned it into the master bathroom, which was amazing. Moved the front door, and we obviously dug a sewer line and did all that stuff, but it came out absolutely spectacular. We sold it like in an instant. So what did we do? That's being persistent, graciously tenacious, having an attitude like, I am not going to give up. If there is motivation there and there's a need to sell, then you can close anyone, and you have to have the attitude that you are going to not quit. I don't quit. I will stick with it. I don't care if I have to sleep on the phone with you. We're going to make this decision together. You know why? Because you have to, right? You have this situation with the property. You have this property is sitting there vacant. What if squatters get into it? The longer you wait, the worse it's going to get. Let's get this thing done now. Every single day the price is dropping. The sooner we lock in your price now, the sooner we can get this done. The sooner you get paid, the sooner you get this problem off your plate. You want to do this now, don't you, Mr. Seller? Don't you want to get it done now instead of waiting and have to think about it all night? Well, I can solve this problem. I can make it as easy as possible, but you got to get on board with me on the price so we can get this deal done. And you have to have that stick-to-itiveness, this dog with a bone that you're not going to let go of this deal and do whatever it takes, right? And if you have that, in that belief, in that stick-to-itiveness, in that gracious, tenacious, you will close more deals because your persuasion, right? And they're going to be like, yeah, and they're going to talk to 10 other wholesalers. They're going to get off the phone with you and go, man, that guy's serious. We're going to, we're going to get this deal done. And then you go to work and you bust your butt to get that sucker sold and make that deal come true. And he'll be the happiest person on the planet. So, again, do me a favor. Go check this out right here. If you want to learn exactly how to go out and do deals nationwide, I greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, thank you very much. Have the attitude. Go out there and crush it. Take care. God bless.
I can't take no loss. Yeah. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my